Alright, hi everyone, I'm back, and as you can see, there's this beehive thing in front of you. So, as everyone knows, the Robocraft Tech Tree is fucking shit. The overall structure honestly doesn't make sense, and what parts to group together doesn't make sense either. So I went out of my way and redesigned the entire thing because I have nothing better to do in my life, I guess. Uh, so Here it is. So the color code is yellow for tier 5, purple for tier 4, dark blue for tier 3, light blue for tier 2, green for tier 1, white for tier 0. Uh, okay, so the thing about this color code is it's basically from Boost Era, if anyone remembers, but there were like two different greens because there was tier 1 and tier 0, I believe. I believe that was the case. So I just went ahead and made it white for 2-0. And anything that's in bold is given to them the account when you first make an account. Like when you first make an account, anything that's bolded right here, it will be given to the player. So the reason why giving basically all the chassis, sorry, don't rage at me in the comments, chassis, other than compact, is because I think that's limiting players' building by having them unlock light cubes and heavy cubes individually while having to grind for the weapons at simultaneously is a bit of hassle, especially since it's not very easy to learn the depths of this game without having such parts and learning to optimize by experience. Of course, there are plenty of people who can't optimize by experience, but having experience always helps. Anyway, so I decided to divide this into three sections. This one's uh ground, ground and slow, basically. So tanks, mechs. I mean, there's cars, but it's ground. So fuck you. Uh, and down here will be ground and faster. So it's spiders, hovers, sprinters, and then right here is air. So we have rotors, thrusters, rudders, and wings. And of course, thrusters can be applied anywhere, but I decided to put it here because out of all these, other than Sprinter, I guess, I feel like it benefits planes the most. So let's start off with lasers. Since lasers are typically used on mechs, sprinters, and planes and copters, I decided to place them right here next to mechs. Because air has plasma, and plasma is like the number one thing that comes into my mind when it comes to air, air weapon primary. Of course, seekers or Lomu can be is best when using air, but the intention of the seeker was an anti-air weapon, I believe. So I put it next to lasers, next to mechs, and I put it next to rotors because I feel like as a casual player coming into Robocraft and trying to just make normal art bots, I feel like it'd be nice to have missiles and copters into one group and make like a attack chopper or something. So yeah, well that's what I thought at least. So if I'm wrong, whatever, I don't really care. It's my tree. It's what I get to do what I want with it. Uh, and down here we have rail and tanks and flak. Oh, also, I made it so that I forgot before you go here. Uh, I made it so that chain is like next to the lasers because like between lasers and mechs because chain is like a variant of laser in some sorts, and chain is typically like a heavy weapon which is suitable for a mech, I'd say. Uh, so yeah, it's right here, and as you can see, you can get tier 5 laser the easier way. So you start here and here. So you can get tier MSMG easier if you just go to here, and then to here, and then to here. But if you go here, and then here, or here, and then here, so tier 2, and then tier 3 seeker. So if you go this way, you get access to seekers. If you go this way, you get access to tier 4 laser, MSMG, and you also get access to chain if you go this way, diagonally. So there are a lot of places like this. I'm not going to explain it individually, but most of the connections that are made into this tech tree, as you can see, is very interconnected overall. Uh, was designed in a similar scenario where going one route will give you the cheaper option, but going the other route will give you a variant of said weapon, and you can have access to it earlier. Because if you want to go through here, you have to go through max, and then through chain like this, which is honestly a bit tedious. Also, I'm pretty sure I changed this area, but I don't really care anymore. I'm pretty sure I changed it so that this blue, this tier 2 mech is right here, and tier 3 is right here, and this spot is empty, so you don't have direct access to change from tier 3 mech. Uh, that's feedback from Rubicon, so I put that in. So imagine that this mech, tier 3 mech, is actually right here in terms of connections. And let's move down. Here we have wheels, tanks, and rails. So I feel like rails are like meant to be a sniper, right? And it's also like a heavy hitting weapon, which is more suitable for a tank or a spider, like a very backline kind of style. This is according to casual logic, but because FreeGem wanted to develop this game towards casual players, this is what I went with. Also, rail doesn't do well with high uh, mobility bots, theoretically at least, according to the concept of the uh, concept of rail, because you have the inaccuracy when you're in air, and when you have things like sprinters where if you jump you don't really get the accuracy, or if you have copters or planes or hovers, you have the an inaccuracy when you're not on the ground specifically. So I put it right here. But people really honestly don't give a shit about it, but you get the point. Also, I put 6 tiers of rail here, but ignore that. There's only 5 tiers of rail. Anyways, I feel like flak is another anti-air variant, but flak is also only activated, able to be used on ground, and it's also like a heavy-hitting artillery weapon. So I put it next to rail and tanks because that makes sense in my head. And right next to the sliders, and then I put EPs here because rather than heavy cubes on like high mobility. I say I put high mobility here, right? And high mobility including wing like air like nearby, not exactly next to each other, but somewhat nearby. If you want high mobility but high HP, you can't exactly use heavy cubes. So you want those EPs. So I put EPs right here. And as you can see, uh, Mega EPs are all the way down here because fuck Mega EPs. Those are it's just stupid. It's just way too strong for a new player. I mean, it got nerfed plenty right now, but you get the point. It's still very good in my opinion, Mega Piece. Because of the like multi connection shit, and because you have high mobility right here, you want those close range weapons for high mobility, right? So I put Ion and Tesla right here next to hovers and sprinters, and of course Teslas are typically used on wings with thrusters, but I wanted to put the close range weapons together, and Ion is typically used on sprinters, sometimes planes, but mostly sprinters and hovers, uh, and sometimes cars if you're being weird, I guess. But and also a mechs, but mechs are a bit too slow, right? You want mobility, you want to close and like change the distance between yourself and your enemy fast with an Ion. So I put it next to anything that's high mobility right here. And mortar is like a variant of plasma, and although it is true that mortar can only be used in ground, but because it's a variant of plasma, basically, because it's like both AoE in a sense, I put it right here. And propellers are here because high mobility stuff. I feel like propellers more versatile in terms of higher mobility than thrusters because of the higher HP, more connection points. Like it activates both forwards and backwards, all that stuff. So I put propellers right here. And nanos are here because I gotta be honest, I didn't know where to put nanos. I just put it here. Um, so I thought maybe like you can be like air support or some bullshit like that next to wings. So I'm moving on because I honestly don't have an argument to back this up. I can put this like anywhere else, and I'd be fine with it. Uh, wings and rudders. I don't think I have to explain why these are together. I already explained thrusters, and because wings, rudders, and rotors are like one group, it's all here. And you may have noticed that there's this area right here on the bottom left. Okay, Windows. So this area right here. So as you can see, modules are now all different tiers. So I have DSM and Blink module on tier 5 because I feel like those increase TTK. And lower tiers do not need an increase in TTK right now. They are very, very. It takes very, very fucking long to kill anyone. Ghost and EMP is tier 4 because tier 4 is kind of the ghost tier. And even if it did exist, these are both modules that I feel like will be a bit too powerful in tier 3 because of the lack of mobility that tier has, but isn't quite quote unquote OP enough or like strong or game impactful enough to be considered tier 5. So I put EMP and Ghost mod on tier 4. And this shield mod, no, Window Maker and Power Module is in tier 3 because Power Module you can use in every tier. I feel like it's not really a game changing thing, and Window Maker is honestly just a meme. So it's right here. Anyways, so you can see that compact chassis is right here. How the fuck do you access this, you might ask? So my concept is compact chassis. Sorry, I keep saying chassis because I keep reading the word stuff. So chassis, okay, compact cubes. Fuck you. Compact cubes are going to be automatically unlocked when you reach level 25. Yes, level 25. And level 25 because if you see the amount of levels required for any like tier 5 weapon, it's less than 25. It's a lot less. So let's take like the minimum amount route. Let's take plasma right here. This would be 2, 3, 5, 4. So this would be 9 and 14. It's 14 levels just to get mega plasma. It's even less for mega laser. Wheels, it's even less, etc., etc. It's not very hard to get a tier 5 weapon with the limited amount of tiers we have right now, especially and especially with the faster progression that we have with the XP boosts for the past few years, and all the quests we have and all this nonsense. So, and even if leveling up wasn't that fast, the pacing would still be around the same. So you'd have plasma. So once you reach half of this, you can play with around with these tiers, like these 4 tiers, for a little bit. And because light cubes, heavy cubes, and stress and medium cubes are all still viable in tier 5 without compact cubes. Maybe not light cubes, but no, light cubes are perfectly viable in tier 5, I'd say. No, with all the buffs. So you can play around with those tiers if tier 5 is too hard. You can still use tier 3s. And while you level up, once you reach level 25, you unlock compact cubes. And once you do, you get one, let's say like a coupon of some sort. Like you are able to unlock any module you want, like any of these. Uh, and every 25 levels, you can get one more module. And this is not using tech points, just every 25 levels, you're able to choose the module that you want to unlock. And I want to do this because modules are something that I'd say shouldn't be like very far away from the main tree. If that makes sense. So I don't want to, because modules each are 5 tech points each in the current tech tree, and it's behind compact queues, which are also all 5 tech points each. It takes fucking forever to get one module on a fresh account if you're new, especially. Uh, like for me, I did it in a day because well, I have experience in the game and I can just stomp newer players in the lower ranks when I rank up a new account. But uh, when you're like a new player completely, I'd say this is a fucking hell to go through on the original tech tree. So I just let it separate from the entire tree itself, and I also didn't want to have something like utility be hindering your progression of unlocking parts that you want to use on your bot, because these type of like thruster like movement parts and weapons, these are the type of things that you it your bot entire bot revolves around them per se, right? But modules, they're utility. You just add it to most any bot and it'll work as long as it pairs with a weapon and movement. And this pairing, it doesn't really necessarily dictate the exact bot you're making. A a lot of the times, except for maybe Ghost like Tesla. But you get the point. That's beside the point. So I want these to be separate from tech points because I don't want it to hinder the progress of unlocking other parts of the tech tree. So yeah, I redesigned the tech tree. Is it just as shit as the Robocraft show? Probably, but is it maybe better? Like maybe slightly better? I'd say yes. So yeah. Oh, and if you're wondering why I didn't use any icons, it's because I was too lazy to export them. So yeah, fuck you. Anyways, thanks for watching. I guess if you have feedback, feel free to call me a bitch in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Yep.